Good everyone. My name is Anito Emmanuel. The CEO of Value Studios, and actually today on today's program, which is known as the Building the Right Mindset for Success, we're having a wonderful person in our midst. To me, she's a mother. She's a mother, and she's actually somebody that has been supportive since I met her. So she'll be one taking on the growth mindset. So please, I want you to watch this video to the end. So I'm going to show you us a video. So please don't skip this video. Don't forward this video because this video is going to tell us the capacity of the person who is going to be speaking to us today. So please watch, don't skip, and thank you very much as you watch this video. Okay, so she's here to speak to us. So please and please, she's okay. Let me put it this way: she's somebody wonderful to me, and she's someone who has the heart to help young people who wants to actually be great in life, and those people who are aspiring for greatness. She's there to help you. She's here to help us, and that is why she's here today to help every one of us who will be watching this video live. So please don't skip. Please watch to the end. Mom, you're welcome to Value Studios today.
Oh my goodness. Good morning from Arizona. I am super excited. You just touched my heart with your little
Oh,
clip of all the monumental work I've done in terms of work. So I'm just like, wow, thank you so much. I am so proud of you, Anito.
thank you
You
very
have
much.
been a
I'm
blessing. I
happy.
think I met you a year ago, and your heart has been so passionate and driven towards your work, balancing being an entrepreneur and being a student, and out you're in Nigeria where it's a lot to work through, but you never stop. So when you asked me to come and be a part of this conversation, and when you say mindset, Dr. Elisa goes, oh, I'm there. And so I'm honored to have you in my life and in my circle as a mentee, and someone that I also count on to get work done for me. Yes, everyone who's listening, he does do some graphic designing for me. And we have our own little entrepreneurial adventures together. So it's been a great journey knowing you. And, now that you're putting together
Me too,
this for
mom.
your staff, it is a privilege to come and talk about the growth, the success mindset, actually, is what you called it. And you'll hear a little bit about me in that. So, everyone, I thank you for watching us here around the world. My name is Dr. Lisa White, and I go by the number one mindset disruptor. I'm also a workforce and business strategist. and I live in here in Arizona, where I am wildly passionate in my life about just seeing individuals overcome limiting beliefs, connect with their true values, core beliefs, and create a purpose driven pathway to their most abundant life. So today I want to quote one of my favorite quotes is Anato has asked me to talk specifically about a success mindset. And we're going to break it down into about three parts, and then we'll talk about five major points that I use to teach. See, right now in my journey, every week, every 9 weeks, there's a cohort, there are four cohorts of 20 young adults and sometimes senior adults that I get to work with. And as a workforce strategist, I coach and train individuals and organizations how to, number one, as individuals, to connect with their true values, core beliefs, as I said, and their purpose, and develop a career pathway. And then I also work with organizations on how they are supposed to really grow their workforce to affect, of course, the bottom line profits, Emmanuel. So in my this 9 week rotation of about 80 students, I was honored and privileged to create a employability curriculum. And so I'm so glad that you brought this, you and your team asked for this. Because in the process of employability, you know what the first lesson is that I teach, Emmanuel? I teach my students the importance of having a success mindset. So you're right on spot, actually. And I want one of my
Yes, ma'am.
favorite quotes by who I've in the last year become very familiar. Her name is Carol Dweck. She is a world-renowned international New York Times bestseller, and she's a trailblazer in the field of developing a growth mindset. She's also done multiple research on how having a growth mindset is prime for success. She says that
Yes, ma'am.
mindset is everything. And when you believe you can improve and you believe in yourself, you can change your life. You see, I love this quote because that's been my personal belief. It's also been my personal experience. When I came to a point where I felt a bit stuck in my career, and I was also somewhat confused about the direction in which I could go, about 7 years ago, when I encountered a life change of going from being married for such a long time to someone who we would relate to as my high school sweetheart. Coming right out of high school, we started dating and we built a life together. And then we decided that we were going to go separately. Everything seemed to be so confusing. I was kind of lost, really, even though it didn't appear to be that way from the outside. And so one of the things I did work on my physical body. I wanted to ensure that I was the most healthy I was, because I had some struggles that I was going through health wise, and I wanted to work and fix that. And that was a wonderful project. And we keep working on that. It's always something that you have to upkeep, you have to keep going with. When I thought about my studies and where I wanted to go and how I truly wanted to live the next half. Hey, I was about 35. So if you go by the score of three scores and 10, I was halfway 70, right? So I wanted to really live out the rest of my life in a purpose driven way. And all the things I thought about changing, keywords I thought about changing, I did not know exactly how.
Wow.
And so I have this thing that's called Think, Speak, Do, Become. That is a system that I work with because I believe that how we think affects how we feel, which then affects what we speak, what we do, and the results we get in our
Mm.
life. So when we talk about a
That's
success
nice.
mindset, we're really talking about transforming our mindsets into a place of how do I become all the things that I want to be? But like I said, with the students I work with in this employability curriculum, I could not teach them how to interview right, how to set up their resume and write and go through the whole interviewing process. It's very detailed without first pointing out to them that if you're going to say you want to be successful at anything, you first have to be clear on what success means to you. Once you
Yes.
define for yourself what success means to you, because you see, success is a word that is never arbitrary in its meaning. It could mean, for some people, I've heard my students say, it's me buying a home and a car and providing for my family. For
Wow.
some
Yes.
individuals, it's building up a legacy. I've heard so many things. And even with myself, I would say all of the above. But most importantly, it's impact, influence, and income so I can continue to impact and influence, right? But beneath a success mindset or a not so successful mindset is something I call the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset spectrum. Again, underneath a success mindset or a not so successful mindset is the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset spectrum. And why am I calling it a spectrum? You see, Anito and all our viewers around the world, it is not just where we can say, I have a fixed mindset or I have a growth mindset. A lot of us are getting carried away in owning, oh, I'm a fixed mindset and that's fine. I don't believe in change. And I'm a growth mindset. I mean, I can grow. That's not it at all. We are always sort of throughout our pathway in life on the spectrum some way. Emmanuel, I'll tell you in my program, in the curriculum I teach, after going through the steps that I'm going to share some of it with our audience viewers tonight, is a little inventory for my students to see where on that spectrum they fall, and then their suggested tips and coaching provided by our team to help them with growing more. So you're like, so Dr. Lisa, okay, we were talking about success mindset. Now you're talking about this fixed growth first versus fixed versus growth mindset spectrum. So let's talk about what a fixed mindset is. A fixed mindset is where people believe that their intelligence is fixed and it's static. It doesn't necessarily need to grow. It's like you're either born with the gift or you're not. And then a growth mindset is where people believe that intelligence and their talents can be improved through the effort of learning. So again, one, where's the fix? It's kind of static and it doesn't really change. You're born without intelligence, gift, and talent. And then in a growth mindset, you believe that you can improve through effort and learning. And so, Emmanuel, I just want to pause for a second because I'm not sure if you want to jump in here and make a comment or two, but what do you think about this whole spectrum and when and how it relates to our success?
Okay. What I would say about these two things, the fixed mindset and the growth mindset, um, based on my experience, I realized where people say, I can't, I don't think I can do it, I can't do that. No, this person do it more better than me. Or they will say something like this, okay, this person is also good in what he or she can do. I don't think I can do what that person what can do. That fixed mindset. And the growth mindset is, no, I can do it. I believe if I try my best, I will improve. So that's what I can just give a full example about the two differences of this fixed
Oh,
mindset
I
and the growth
absolutely
mindset.
right. Absolutely right. One of the things that one of my favorite authors, Carol Dweck, says also about a growth mindset, she says, in a growth mindset, challenges are rather exciting versus threatening. And I like that. She said that there's that thinking of, oh, I'm going to reveal my weakness. And you tend to say, wow, so here's my chance to grow. Literally, here is my chance to grow. I heard and read about a study, Emmanuel, where there's a school in Chicago here in the USA, where instead of when they give a report card to the students, they give them a pass grade or fail grade where you get the A's, the B's, and things like that. They give them a score with the report that said not yet. So, what if, as I like to say, with the growth mindset, you're always saying, how can I? How can I improve what I already have, what I already know, and sometimes what I'm not so really great at? You see, when we think we fail, we tend to get stuck and not want to move forward. But when we look at it from a growth mindset perspective, we're thinking, well, oh, if I did this, and it didn't work, now I might be able to do this, and then recruit help and continue that whole curve of growing. So the thing about having a growth mindset is always going to be beneficial to entrepreneurs, as you've asked me to address here, Emmanuel, because an entrepreneur never stops. And so when we get it, let's just dive into how do we develop a growth mindset. And I've got 5 tips and some bonuses, and then we'll talk some more about how you can get some more information about that. Because a growth mindset, Emmanuel, will always look at a setback as a necessary part of the learning process. And so again, we are tying it back. You Who doesn't want to be successful? Who doesn't want to achieve their goals? I know no one who gets up every day and do something except they're massively depressed and say, I'm going to go this, but I don't care the outcome. There is a little bit of hope in each human that says, I want to be really successful at something. I want to achieve comfort. I want to achieve at least having sustainable employment. I at least want to grow a business where I can make money and I can actually impact and influence, even if you're only thinking about your family, or maybe you're just thinking about yourself and your life. You still want success. And in order, we're saying today on this program, that in order to achieve success, you have got to have a growth mindset, which recognizes setbacks as a necessary part of your learning process, which will allow you to now bounce back with increasing motivational effort. So, Emmanuel, here are a few very key attributes of an individual who has a growth mindset. Number one, they embrace learning. You know that whether you're going to formal educational programs like college, university, or certification, that's not the only kind of learning I'm talking about. I am talking
Okay.
about the individual who looks at everything in their life, whether it be something they are great at, something that happened negatively, something that happened positively, and they're looking for the opportunity to grow. What do you think about that, Emmanuel? Are you there? Did I
Okay.
lose?
Okay.
Yes. What do you
So
think about the embracing learning?
okay. So concerning that aspect of learning, I realized something recently, that it's not like just going to school just to pass exams, read your book, just know chemistry, all of that. I think when we talk about learning, it's learning skills that could add value to others, learning things that can help the society, learning things that can be of great impact, that can
Mm,
solve problems, that can be of solutions. That are things that can be able to develop the society. So I feel in this aspect of learning that you learn to improve daily, psychologically, mentally, and both in words, in your skill, and also. So that's part of things actually about learning. That's so sweet about it.
I I love that. So when you have that growth mindset and you're embracing learning, you use everything as an opportunity to learn. The second thing that's very a, an attribute of a growth mindset is one who believes that they can improve their intelligence. You know, there's a debate back and forth about whether if you have the skill and the talent, it's better, or whether if you practice to become better. You know, a recent report that I read, it might not be recent, but I read it recently, is that Michael Jordan, one of the most successful basketball players, that he wasn't really that great to begin with. He actually became great by practicing and practicing, by his commitment and dedication to the sport, and studying and learning and going out and doing the physical work to build himself to becoming the great one of the world's greatest basketball players. You see, one of the challenges that our society presents with all the wonderful advancement in technology. For example, there's this show called America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent. Who knows? everybody's got talent, right? Or we have YouTube videos and TikTok where people who are so very highly talented are highlighted and thrown on the screen of our phones and computers and television sets all day. But we only see them as the finished product. I want to encourage us to, when we see highly talented, or let's say highly skilled individuals, that we know that yes, they might have been born with a knack and a gift for something, but them sitting in front of your screen, whether it be in the palm of your hands or in front of you or on a billboard in Times Square, that those individuals would have put absolute effort behind that natural gift and talent to continue to learn and grow and practice, 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 practice. So a growth mindset believes that they can improve their intelligence and their skill to become better than their last best. See, I personally live in a world where it's not necessarily a competition at all. You know, some people say I don't compete with others, I compete with me. It's not a competition, but it's a constant improvement of whatever skill or gift or talent that I have that I want to make applicable in this life, in this current space, in this present moment of my life. You see, nobody is just successful. They have to put the time in on the work and skill if they're going to be the greatest at what they do. So if you want to challenge your goat energy to be successful, keep improving your intelligence and your skills. The third point I have is keep learning to gain knowledge. Like you said just now, Anato, is you've got to keep learning. Whether you're going to do it formally or informally, you have got to keep learning because everything is changing quickly. And no, I'm not giving you that advice to outwit your competition alone. That's also good to keep some motivation going, but you run out of gas really quick if you're just running on the motivation. You have to be very, 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 very focus on what it is you're going to grow within yourself and for what outcomes you want to get that if you're going to achieve success in whatever it is you intend to do. The next point is to put more effort behind what you say you want. Individuals with a growth mindset and who are going to achieve massive success in their life understands putting what they say they want, not just talking it, but they're putting the thought process, the feeling, the emotion, the effort and energy behind it to be able to accomplish what they say they want. Also, the next thing is that a person with a growth mindset that's going to achieve massive success know that failure is only temporary. It's just a temporary setback. So when bad things happen, for example, recently I suffered with having a small fire in my home. That small fire to me was not a small fire for the fire department. So they shut everything down in my home and I had to be somewhere else. And I had a moment where I was like, oh my goodness, this puts a stop on the programs I'm going to launch. This puts a stop, and I literally was thinking a stop on all these things that I got to do. I just got back from international travel. And I had a moment of like gloom and doom. But being your number one mindset disruptor, I have armed myself with a toolbox that supports my growth mindset, right? Remember, I said there's a spectrum. So we're all on the spectrum somewhere, but we can always move up. And so in my toolbox is that moment where I sit to myself and I say, what do you know for sure? Because you see, our mind gets information. What we do with the information is up to us. And we get the information from events, from people in our environment, and from past experiences. All that information is being percolated in my mind and in your mind constantly, constantly. But we have this central system that controls it's called me, I. It's up to me how I process that information to get the outcome. So with that process, I sat there and I said, okay, Lisa, what do you know for sure? Okay, if this is happening, there's got to be a lesson that I can learn from it. If this is a true setback like it's presenting to be, there has to be something I can learn from it because this is only a setback that's temporary. So what can I learn and how can I pivot what I have planned to facilitate working through the setback, not getting over it, working through it, and still coming out successful with all the goals that I have. And so the truth is, It was only temporary. There was a lot of there's health, there's insurance, there's all the moving pieces. But in my mind, I said, how can I calm myself and navigate this process and still balance all the things that I want to do, even if they have to wait a while. And so with that growth mindset, cultivating that in the moment, even though initially I was like, I'm stuck. This is terrible. This is bad, which had more of a fixed mindset because, oh my gosh, we can't stay in the home that I'm used to for a while. And I don't know how long. They're telling me it could be months. But that growth mindset realized that this was a temporary setback. And so the next thing that someone who has a growth mindset has within them is they view feedback as a source of information and an opportunity to learn. You see, an individual with a growth mindset, when listening to someone, just before we got on the show here, Emmanuel, one of my dearest friends, we were just having a really good conversation. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so perfect. I'm absolutely going to use it when I get on the conversation to share. Because you see, a lot of times we have adversarial relationships and information coming to us, right? And so when we have a growth mindset, we'll look at what sometimes you might be thinking you're getting negative feedback from an individual in a circumstance situation, whether it be your parents, whether it be your supervisor, your manager, your professor, or just a friend saying, oh my gosh, you suck. You didn't do, and you da 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 da. As a growth person with a growth mindset who is determined and focused on attaining massive success, you will listen to that feedback and you will listen keenly and you will take information from even negative feedback and you will say, oh, but I heard this and I heard this and I can work on this. I can change this. I can change that. And it still will propel me forward, even though really it seemed very negative, the feedback I was getting. And so that for me is something that you have to take the time out and shift your mindset rapidly and quickly in the moment to say, oh, I feel, I heard, and I'm thinking, and I'm feeling like this is a really negative situation. It's really bothering or hurt me. However, I'm going to shift into how does the feedback I'm getting right now, what is in there that I can take out of it like a buffet, take out of it and walk away with a motivated, positive set of information that will help me grow and become better and continue on my journey to success. The next thing about an individual with a growth mindset that will attain massive success is that they embrace challenges and they view other success as a source of inspiration. So, Emmanuel, here in the USA, we talk a lot about, and I think you young folks in Nigeria talk about it too. How about the haters? You know the haters? When everybody talk about having haters, and look, this concept, it exists, right? And if it
Yes,
exists
ma'am.
in your mind, then it's real. Here's the thing, an individual with a growth mindset who is focused on attaining what they say they're going to do, massive success, looks at all that as a source of inspiration. The other
Mm.
thing is, if I see Emmanuel going from being a student into entrepreneurship and he's winning in his business and he's getting massive contracts, both nationally, internationally, and I have been his friend for the last decade of our lives, I don't look at him and say, how on earth is he doing this when I am the one who's better at this? And how did he get this quicker than I did? And oh my goodness, I just can't believe that he's doing this and I'm not. Like, what's wrong with me, God? Like, no. A person with a growth mindset views Emmanuel's success as, wait a minute. So, how did he do that? Emmanuel, you know what? I've been working on this and I noticed that you have been really, really successful with this. And I kind of want the same success. Is there any way you can help me? Give me a few tips on how I can do better. See, you don't look at that person as a competition. You look at them as an inspiration for your own
An
growth,
inspiration.
right?
Yes,
See, and
ma'am.
so that is the thing. Those are my top 10 elements of the growth mindset that really would impact massive, massive success that continuous mind of growth. What are you thinking about?
Okay. So, okay. Right now, I don't even know what to say actually, but I don't know what to say actually. So, one of the things that actually helped me as a person and as also the founder of Value Studios is that I realized something that I don't actually have all the resources needed, but I told myself one thing, and I
Uh-huh.
tell myself this every time is that even though if you don't have the resources, there's always an alternative for everything. Even if we don't have that resources for that particular thing we want to achieve, I think there's always an alternative to achieve that same goal. So I sit down, I take my phone, I begin to search, ask people also where please do you know about this thing? Do you know about do you know anything like this that someone can use to get this same results? And continually I do that, though it's actually not easy for me, but at least it's actually the same way I got this StreamYard. That's the same way I got this too. The same thing. I
Wow.
search. I never give up though. So one of the things I actually say in this aspect is for every problem, there's a solution. And even though you don't have the
Yes.
resources, there's also an alternative to solve that problem. That is solve that problem effectively. And it has really helped me because and that's given me this mindset that nothing around you is waste. There's somehow you can be able to manufacture something to be that same resources you are looking for to achieve that same goal. And since then, it has
Exactly.
been helping me as a person. And I told myself, okay, even though I don't have this, okay, I think there's a way out. There's a way out.
Yes.
And that mindset actually has been actually be helping me on that aspect. And that gave me that mindset, okay, is that Emmanuel, you can do anything, no matter the resources in your hand, no matter how little, no matter how big. If you just think big, if you reason, if you calm down, if you ask people, if you make inquiries, you can
Yes.
what get there. So that's one of the things.
Exactly. That's so powerful. That's a growth mindset, like I began saying. It asks, how can I? Right? So when
Yeah.
you just give us a perfect example of how you are becoming successful in as a young man, as an entrepreneur. It's because you don't look at the limitations. You look for the resources. You look for resource individuals and you ask yourself, how can I? So for the next few minutes, I just want to go over and bring those 10 points that I gave you earlier and focus in a five very practical five impactful things that I want our viewers and listeners to walk away with. And so when we talk about the practicality of applying a growth mindset to achieve massive success, the part with embracing challenge that you led us so quite well into, we have to understand that life is not a bed of roses. No one is telling you, because one of the things that research shows is that a lot of individuals have now taken this whole concept of having a success mindset and a growth mindset. They're actually not really applying growth, but they're still using the fixed mindset principles, but layering it over with a level of positivity, which they're calling toxic positivity, where it's like, I can do anything if I believe it. Yes, I can. And all the affirmations and all the wonderful things, those are great, but they mean nothing if you're not truly putting the metal to the pedal and seeking growth opportunities in everything. It's not about, oh my God, I am the most brilliant person. Oh, I have all of this. You see, research shows in a study with students who they were actually teaching a growth mindset, that the educators in that scenario were not just telling the students, you're so smart, you're so brilliant, you did a wonderful job, but they're more in tune with how Emmanuel did what he did. It's not about, see, we also have created a culture, and it's talked about in the industry where we explore more about how this whole growth mindset is impacting us. Where in the 1990s, a lot of this whole culture of awards, 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 where we're telling students, telling teachers and educators and even parents that you must reward your child with positive words of upliftment and praise. And so we're overstimulated by telling someone, you are so talented, you are so good at that. But we're not really paying attention to the why, as I highlighted early with the shows and things on our screens. It's like we're looking at people who are just naturally great. And we're a lot of individuals end up, well, I can dance, but I'm not that good. I could sing, but I'm not good. No, you're not, because you have not allowed yourself to apply principles of growth in developing your gift and talent. Or maybe you're not pulling from the gift and talent and attaching it to your purpose well enough and developing it with growth processes, with inviting people and getting mentorship, getting coaching, studying, reading, and practicing. Most importantly, practicing. There's no way I'm going to have biceps. You all know it. No one is born with biceps. Now, young children have a very fit body, but if you watch as they grow and they're not active, they put on weight, and you're not seeing the definition in their muscle as you might have seen it as when they were younger. So as an adult, I know that if I want to have a fit body, what do I have to do? I have to eat right, I have to exercise, and I have to sleep. It's very simple. I have to create habits around the goal for the body that I say I want. And the only way I'm going to achieve it is by making sure that I'm constantly learning and tweaking and tweaking and tweaking until I create systems. So if we're going to achieve massive growth and we're going to develop a mindset massive success, and we're going to develop a growth mindset, we also have to put habits. We have to put the goals, and we have to be very specific. My dear friend, Dr. Graham Ellis, says, you cannot overcome what you choose not to confront. So if you have habits, if you say you want to be successful and you have habits that are not leading and making a plan and a pathway towards that success, then if you don't confront what needs to change in you, then you're not going to get ahead and be successful. So I want us to consider that we must look at our plans and tweak them out in order with our habits and have the right thought processes to reach the goals. Or if they're not in alignment, we're just wasting time. There's no achievement. Then the other thing is that constant mindset shifting. And so a lot of people ask, oh, Dr. Lisa, if you had to say, how do I shift my mindset? It's first, think about the thoughts you're thinking. Like, no, not just hear them, but really think about them. Verify its validity in the journey and the process that you're saying you're walking on to get where you want to go. So for example, if I have a thought, it's like, oh my goodness, if I sit here and think, I have had too much happen this week, I'm overwhelmed. That's a thought, right? Now, that thought, I can stick with it and move into, oh gosh, I'm going to cancel the show today. I'm just going to go back to bed. I'm going to do that. But then I wake up tomorrow, I have the same thought. I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. So now, as I say, think, feel, speak to become. I keep repeating that thought. So I keep speaking out, and then I keep doing, because now I'm tired every day. I'm always overwhelmed. I can't do it. That thought now becomes now a habit of me not performing, not producing, not doing and checking things off the list of the goals that I say I want. But if when that thought comes up, I think about that thought and I'm like, okay, so my body feels tired. And what does that mean? That means my body needs rest. So what are you going to do, Elisa? You're going to take rest for 2-3 hours, or you're going to take a rest for today and restructure your schedule, because obviously your schedule is not working if you're feeling tired and overwhelmed. And you're going to take massive action, but you're not going to sit in I'm tired and I'm overwhelmed and keep repeating habits, setting up new habits that feeds a tired, overwhelmed life. I am now setting habits to combat the tiredness and the overwhelm. Maybe I have too much on my plate. So I'm thinking about the thoughts that I have. So it is not true that I'm tired and overwhelmed, but it is true that my body is tired. And because it is, I'm going to take actions with the truth And let's just say that it's not about being tired and overwhelmed. It's just because I'm not balancing things in a way that leads up to the success that I say I want, what leads up and is in alignment with the goals that I have on my list. Because remember, successful people are very clear about where they're going, and they're writing the vision, making it clear, and they're working with systems and habits that achieve said goals. Does that make
Yes,
sense
ma'am.
to you, Emmanuel?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
So
yeah. Yes, ma'am.
that's one of the practical things, is shifting your mindset. The next thing is, as we said, set clear goals. Goal setting is always important if you're going to achieve success. You have to move with emphasized importance, clarity, and actionable steps. You have to. You just can't. Then the next one is also continue in a state of resilience and perseverance. And remember, we said earlier that a person who has a growth mindset that's going to be successful looks at situations, they embrace challenges, and they persevere through them. Just like I shared with you in the situation with me in the fire. You know, it's adversity, as I said, will always come. We're either going up the hill or coming down the hill of trials and adversity and wins. There's no life where it's just win, 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 win. There are periods of win, 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 and then you get to the peak, but then you have to come back down that mountain, right? So you have to embrace a mindset of perseverance and resilience. And so with that, a lot of times my students say, how, Dr. Lisa? I'm like, first of all, you have to sit when you're making your goals and think about all the things that can possibly interrupt the process. But here's the thing, we can't see everything. And that's where the perseverance would come. I love what my dear friend Dr. Kareem says. He talks about playing offense, playing life from offense to defense. And defense is you responding to tragedy, is you responding to things that happen. But offense is you planning for all the things that within your scope, and maybe people who've done it before. If you're smart enough, you'll have mentor coaches and friends who have done what you've done before. With what they share with you, you can plan. But then there are those things that no one ever sees coming, like the wonderful fire that occurred in my home a couple weeks ago. And that's where the mindset of perseverance will come in, right? Perseverance is where I am going to go through this. I am going to learn through this. And I am going to come out on the other side more empowered and strengthened than I was before. And now I'm still going to achieve the goals that I have set. So resilience and perseverance are our friends if we're going to achieve massive success. So the next thing that I want to talk about that I absolutely love, that individuals, some are still new to it and some are very in tune with it. But here's the thing, promise, when I say this, please, first thing, you do this anyway. And that is positive self talk and visualization. That's two tools that I use so well. And I'm going to go back to the situation with the fire that happened in my home a couple weeks ago. I was sitting there, the fire department is ravaging through everything, trying to put the fire out, and my neighbors came, and I'm sitting in my car. It's 115 degrees outside. And as I told you guys, I was thinking all the things. What if everything goes down? What if everything goes down and start all over again? I was thinking all the negative thoughts. And I stilled my mind and I asked myself, what do you know for sure? But in that moment, I was practicing positive self-talk. I had to switch the negative into positive, not the toxic positivity I just shared with you about. What do I know for sure? The first thing I know for sure is that I was sitting there, and I literally was sitting in 120 degrees outside, and I had fire department, EMT, neighbors, everybody around me. And I was just sitting there as they were checking me to make sure I was breathing fine because I did inhale some smoke. And while they're working, I closed my eyes. And this is where the tip of visualization and positive self-talk came in. When I asked myself what I knew for sure, the first thing I said is, I am alive. I'm alive. And I did not have any burns. And that was first step to positivity, and gratitude. Then the next thing I started to do is visualize when the fire's put out, when all this is done, where do I want to end up? And for me, it's back on track, crushing my goals and dreams. So I went back and I continued. I started to see myself cleaning this up, packing up the things, getting new equipment and furniture, and having a clean home, and being back into my flow of teaching, coaching, speaking, and training globally, and just enjoying impact, influence, and income. And I stood there for less than about 3 minutes while they're all busy and chaos is around me. And I used a tool of visualization and positive self talk to calm myself. And they had me hooked up to the pressure machine. My blood pressure was highly elevated. And they did it again. And they're like, oh, it's going down. You're doing so good. They're like, the EMT said, you're doing so good for someone who's going through all this, not as bad as it could be. Do you want to go to the hospital? And I said, no, I am fine. I didn't say I will be fine. I said, I am fine. And that, again, is that positive self-talk I'm talking about you. And because I said I am fine, I worked through the whole process in that chaotic day that didn't end until 10 p.m. at night in a calm state of, this hurts. I feel a bit overwhelmed, but I am fine. I am okay. And I'm going to move through this. A lot to handle, but I am giving you not just psychological tools, my dear friends. I'm giving you practical tools that I actually use in my own life. So I want to rehash those for you very quickly. Number one is set yourself up to embrace challenge. That's number one when it comes to having a success mindset. Number two, cultivate that growth mindset that we kicked this conversation with. I give you 10 tips. Go back and listen to those. How do you know if you're on the higher part of the spectrum with the growth mindset to attain massive success? And then three, set clear goals. Set clear goals in alignment with what you say you want, and do. Think, speak, do, become those things. And then fourthly, embrace the mindset of resilience and perseverance. Are you playing your life on offense or defense? And there are times when you have to play both, but make sure you're balancing them properly. And then the last one is practice positive self-talk and use visualization as a tool. And if you need more information about any of these, we'll tell you in a little while how to reach out to me. But that's what I got for us today, Emmanuel. And I know for me, it's a lot in a short time, but these are some of the most paramount tools I use in my own life, literally every day, to continue to be successful, not only with my goals, but with the impact and how I say I want to influence others in the world.
Wow, 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 wow. Oh, I really appreciate this. This is actually wonderful. In fact, this has actually answered all my question because
Oh
there are some
no,
things
you
actually I
gotta
need to
ask
work on
something.
myself now. Yeah, in this word, like honestly, the place of challenge. Wow, that's cool. I was someone who used to run from challenges. Like when I see challenge, I lost. No, I'm going away from this. Like no. So I'm kind of person I used to run from challenge. Too much of challenge. I just believe that. Then okay, let me just try my best. But recently, I've been embracing that mindset of challenge. That's just to go and try, no matter how. Even if I didn't win, let me try. Let me continue to try till I work. One day win. And actually, it's helping because it helps you to believe that you can become successful in life. And when one can embrace that word success, that word being great, it might it it causes this havoc of one being believing that, oh, I can be great in life, I can be successful. So that challenge, actually, that challenge, embracing challenges, helps you to build that mindset of greatness. That okay, no matter how big this is actually, I can do it. And it has been
Yeah.
helping me recently because I have started embracing that little aspect of that aspect. I mean to say of embracing challenges. Actually, it has been helping me. And ma'am, thank you very, very, very much.
You're
And
welcome.
also, my team really appreciate it because I really wanted to hear this because we want to give the best to people. We want to give the best designs to people that will solve their branding problem. So our team must always strive to learn day by day. That is why this program was actually organized. And I'm happy that you said a lot of things, and I know that they really appreciate it. Right now, most of us are watching. If possible, we'll still get back to you to really, really
Yes,
tell you the
I would
testimonies
love
of
to hear
what
the
this program has done in
feedback
our
and the
life.
questions. Yes, I would love that.
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. So
Here's the thing.
um,
I want to say one thing is whatever we intend to do, when we a lot of times we relate success to external forces and external outcomes. But I want us to understand that true success starts on the inside. And for me, going to say it begins with how we think. So once we are on the right track with our thinking, no matter what comes our way, we will not shift from our goals. We will only use it as a stepping stone to greatness. I love to say that. That's my own quote. Is that when I realized that everything that was happening outside of me was also was really and truly the stepping stones for me to create greatness inside of me so that I can create stepping stones to greatness outside of me. So that's it. It's work, but whatever you want to achieve gotta come from in here. It's gotta start up here because those thoughts create feelings, which puts us on the loop of thinking, speaking, doing, and ultimately becoming. So yes, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. I would love to put the questions on the YouTube channel. If you're watching this, I'll go back and I'll spend some time later on looking at those questions, or you can send me a quick message in my inbox on Instagram. I'm telling everyone I have a free giveaway for you all. It's 21 days to transforming your mindset. And you can get that for free by going to my Instagram. It's at Elisa White Speaks. You go to my Instagram and you inbox me 21 days, just the words 21 days. But first, you got to follow. So when you send the 21 days, I'm going to look to see if you're following. If you're not following, I'm going to remind you, or somebody from my team will, and then we will send you the link to the free gift of 21 days to transforming your mindset. And for some of you, if you're interested in getting the tool to see where on the spectrum you are, once you sign up for the 21 days, you will automatically be sent the assessment to see where on the spectrum you are with your growth mindset. And there will be free recommendations based on your score, how you can grow. We've got that tool that I created for my students, and I'm willing to share it with our viewers today, which is something you're going to have to purchase. But for right now, I will give it to you for absolutely free, only if you follow me on Instagram and you inbox me 21 days.
Wow. This is actually wonderful. Okay, you know what, everyone? We just go for like a minute break and we'll come back and then we close. So please just watch this because many of us actually may be asking, what is Value Studios? What are they standing
That's
for?
right.
Don't worry. Let's just play just a minute video just to tell you people about Value Studios. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much for watching this video. At least most of us will know what Value Studios is standing for and what we are to the world. So now Value Studios is organizing this program not just for our team alone, for everyone watching this video, so that we will build that right mindset for what? For success. So please, as we all heard Dr. Lisa White's saying earlier, please let's ensure that we all subscribe to the channel. Please, this is actually a very good program. We help you. No, she said something earlier. She said building the habit of learning. So you don't stop learning, continue
Yes.
learning. The more you learn, the more you grow. And the day you stop learning is the day you don't grow. So imagine that you don't eat at all every day. How do you want to grow? So please, you need to be part of this program. Me, actually, I'm blessed by this wonderful talk, ma'am. I really appreciate it. Honestly, if I want to start saying these words, it might take me 5 hours. Say thank you, thank you, thank you very much, man. And we really appreciate it. So for those who are watching this video, please don't just watch this video. Please leave a question. Maybe you have a question or a contribution, something we can help you out. And for those who are interested in the program, you can chat on the link on the chat section. Then we're going to get back to you with the links necessary to subscribe. Thank you very much, mom. Thank you very much for accepting this invitation. And I know this will create a shift in my team also, and also create a shift in the people who are watching this program. So I'm just bringing this to the public. Okay, Value Studios as a designing company as is aiming and is working towards having this kind of program yearly to help improve our team and to people who want to watch. So please, 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 please always get ready for another edition. Ma, I don't say this, but thank you very, 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 very much, ma, and God bless you, ma. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
You're
So,
very welcome.
yes, ma'am. So many people are watching. We'll be closing right now, and while we close, just get it. Thank you very much.